So, as you can guess by the title, this is showing you some of my little techie things that I can't live without, that I think you should get if you're building quite a lot of quads, or you suffer a few technical gremlins. Also, it's inspired by Josh's little video about the little light bulb harness. I'll put the link in the description so you can check this out. So my first favourite little must-have bit of kit is this, and it's a little motor tester. So originally it was a Hobby King 12 amp ESC, but it's being flashed with BL Heli. It's admittedly it's got an Atmel chip on it, but yeah, if you buy an extra one of these, they're so cheap. I think they're about £5, and flash it to the latest version of BL Heli. You can plug it straight into a XD60. Gives you the option of having 5 volts. So say if you're binding a transmitter, you can just plug this in and supply 5 volts. And you can clip these to each other so they don't short. But essentially this gives you a way to plug into your flight controller, and then you can connect this to one of your motors. Make sure these never touch. That's why these are slightly long, so the sleeves pull over the top. But it gives you a way of testing a motor to see whether if it's the motor that's broken or the ESC. If the motor spins properly with your good ESC that you know, this little test ESC you know that works, then your motor, the windings might have burnt out, shorted, twisted. The motor's not spinning properly because you put a dent in the bell. Magnets have slipped. Usually you can tell, you can investigate if this is broken anyway. You can rip off that C-clip, take it apart. Then you can reuse the shaft if that's any good, or multiple things. So it's a good way of finding out what's broken. So it's your ESC. The next one is the little Arduino Nano. This is great. Basically, you can connect a little connector to it, so it doesn't matter whether you've got an Atmel chip or a Scilabs chip. You can flash your ESCs with this, and it's just a versatile bit of kit. It costs £3 on eBay, and yeah, can't live without it really. You can also use it as a USB ASP adapter as well. Little test servo, great for checking, like plugging into your receiver if you're still running like PW pulse width modulation, PWM set, and checking to see what like what sticks assigned to what channel and stuff like that. If you're new, this is a great thing to have. Just buy a cheap little servo to see what's working and what direction everything's turned into. Great for also range checking and stuff like that. You can put like a little flag on it and see whether you're still getting the range. This bit of a wild one, but it's a 25 milliwatt 5.8 transmitter, and originally they were given out with the Predator kits on the Fat Sharks and whatnot. You can buy these fairly cheap on eBay because people would buy the goggle kit that's available, EU certified, because you're only meant to run 25 milliwatts in the UK, and people sell these because they want to run on the 200 milliwatt, and you can buy them pretty cheap. There's someone who doesn't want them, but it's great for indoors where you can just leave one of these dipoles on it and do all your testing to see whether you've got your camera's working, or set the OSD so you can click into the menu and set like the wide dynamic range and the brightness and that. So yeah, it's got these connectors on it, so you can just peel them off and put like the HS117 connector on it and then program that. So it's quite versatile really. So that's also another great thing to have. This one, this is an FTDI adapter. Can't live without it. Really, it's great. Say if you snap your USB header off your NAS board, you can just go from the TX RX 5V and ground. You can make one of these adapters, and then you just plug into the you just supply 5V and the TX and RX pin in the middle of the board. I wish I had one to show you now. Hang on. Is this one? Hang on. Oh, yep. Nico's old board. So probably not the best thing to show you. But yeah, here and here in the middle of the board there's the TX and RX. It's linked to UART1, so if you rip this off, you can plug into these. This is the yellow and white one on here, and you can still access your board, which is handy because like a lot of I use the SP3s, the Seriously Pro boards by Dom, and the original ones, and the USB headers tend to fall off. I'm a fan of that board. I'm just not a fan of the layout of it, but all in all, it's a good board. And you know, this also does things like program your GPS if you need to, and yeah, it's really handy just to have one. One day you'll need it, and you'll be glad you got it. If you can as well, get one where you can switch from 5V to 3V. Yeah. Next bit of kit. If you own a Tyranus, get one of these. This is the Tyranus Free Sky Updater little USB stick. You need to buy the little adapter, which has got like a little diode on it that inverts the signal. It basically lowers, I think it lowers the TX, and then the RX joins down the same line or something like that. I can't remember the layout now. I'll have to look it up. But it's great if now you're getting the EU X4Rs, and they've got now listen before talk, and it won't connect with the EU firmware. And if you've bought a Tyranus outside of you know, Europe, you've got like the non-EU firmware, so you'll need to flash them if you're in a bit of a rush. You can do it at the back of the Tyranus, but I worry about the pins for the module. If you've got a module and you're always unplugging it and plugging it back in, and it's quite nice to use the Sport Updater as well, and you can just flash your mates and you can make a nice little harness. And you know, you're building indoors anyway, so you know, it's just handy to just plug into the computer and then just flash it with a computer. The other things Oscar was like saying about useful things, pointy thing. This is a etching tool, and it's just a metal pointy thing. It's great for using it as a scribe, even like digging a little hole in it so that you can have a pilot hole to drill through, so it kind of like centers like a punch. But obviously you're drilling into plastic, so you don't really want to punch it and hit it with a hammer. So this thing's just great. It's great for lifting the little tabs on the servo connectors, scratching little numbers into like the motor numbers into the little servo like headers, JSTs. And the other thing is a scalpel. I can't live without it. It's great for just rolling the wire and cutting the insulation off it. Yeah, just unbelievable. Like if you need to cut heat shrink off, it's just such a good bit of kit. The blades are so cheap, so you can change them, so there's no like, you know, cutting too hard and, you know, cutting your dick off. So no one likes a bleeder. And the other things with the FTDI adapter as well, as you know, like you could buy two of these and have one with the female and one with the male, just like normal pins, or you can sit there and make little sex changes so that you can connect separately into different things as well. So like, and also this kind of for this connector as well, you can kind of you know, they're just handy to have. You know, little, you know, if you haven't got the right sex, you know, then they're brilliant. So it's well worth making just a few of those, and then you will always have them. And last but not least, the faithful old, you don't really use this much anymore, it's more the KK2 days and stuff like that, but the USB ASP adapter. I mean, if you've got an Arduino, then you don't really need it, but you know, now and again this does crop up. You know, if you're working with old tech and you want to put a new BLHeli bootloader or something on Atmel chips, just a handy little thing to get. Like, buy it from China, wait for it to show up. You never know, you might need it. It's not really used that much nowadays, but you'll be surprised. And last but not least, get yourself a decent set of side cutters, because I use these all day, every day. You know, even if you're an animal and you use them to cut your toenails, if you get a good pair, it's well worth it. And for anyone, loads of people keep asking me what solder I use. I use this. It's somehow smuggled into the EU, and it's lead-based solder, 6040. And remember, kids, use Loctite. Yep, Daniel Waring, Loctite, amazing. Let it dry. Shake the bottle. Have fun, guys. Happy flying. I hope this helps. But yeah, that's what I use. Oh yeah, and flux. Can't beat flux as well. Take care, bye.